Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series. If you'd like life, business, relationship, or entertainment coaching, including as a professional wrestler or other sports star, please go to my main channel at PO Perception on Twitter and or Golden Opportunities Coaching here on YouTube. We'd love to be of assistance to you. Sorry about knocking my microphone there. Ted DiBiase phone interview for the injury after his neck injury. There's talk that he may never wrestle again, kind of teasing that, the idea that much like after the nature of his injury in Georgia with the pile driver with the Freebirds, same thing kind of done here in this area. Mr. Unpredictable Dick Slater and Buzz Sawyer against Ken Wayne and I think it's Rip Hawk. But Sawyer and Slater are a reasonably Bob Wayne and Mark Hawk, completely way off there. Enhancement talents for them. They're from a different area, I believe, because they obviously are new here. Shots by Slater. Slater with a bunch of punches and kicks. Slater and Mad Dog have been fined $5,000 recently in the last couple of weeks, so they are obviously worried about those challenges. Hard shots by Mad Dog. Mad Dog comes in wearing a bandage over his head, as if to say that he has in fact been bleeding nights before. The other enhancement talent comes in, gets gobbled up by both Slater and Buzz Sawyer. Sawyer, actually not a guy that I know a lot about. I do like his second rope twisting power slam. Cool stuff there, but he is certainly an intense guy. Punch, punch, kick, kick, and that power slam. Slater comes back in, does as much damage as he can possibly do, hits a neck breaker there and a Russian leg sweep. For some reason, the enhancement talent allowed to kick out, which is just goofy to me in that type of scenario, especially with the fact that Slater is trying to get over, and as is Sawyer. Slater comes in, knocks the other enhancement talent off the apron, and hits I guess you'd say, diving forearm from the second rope. 1, 2, 3, and away we go there. The team of Sawyer and Slater are victorious. Ricky Starr against Jake the Snake Roberts. Can't believe the Snake is still here. He must leave in '86. We do have a couple of shows from '86 available here. We're down to less than 10 full Mid-South shows available on the network. Not sure what deal I'm going to do next year. Anyway, Jake Roberts with the hard shots and the tie-up by Ricky Starks. Not Ricky Starks. No, he's on AEW, but Ricky Starr here getting pulled down with an armbar. Roberts trying to grind him into the canvas. Roberts still a bit of a babyface in the area. Probably leaving within a couple of months here. Has to leave by at least April, probably March actually, because, well, the thought would be that he's going to have some time to prep for WrestleMania 2 with George Wells. So Jake coming very close to his ending here in the Mid-South area. Shoulder tackle by Roberts. Roberts back off the ropes. Leapfrog and a body slam for his trouble. And then Roberts shoots the knee and goes right for that. Right for the hookup, right for the DDT. Doesn't get what he wants on it. Instead, shoots the knee just for a bit. Starr comes back just a bit and starts to brawl with Roberts a little bit. Irish whip there. And obviously, the Snake coming out the back door doesn't get what he wants on that Irish whip, and Jake with the short clothesline, and Jake Roberts hits a DDT, 1, 2, 3, and we're over there. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Rob Rick Steiner, otherwise known as Rick Steiner, versus the Hacksaws. Not quite sure I understand the name behind the idea of the Hacksaws. Maybe it's a shot of Butch Reed, and Reed's left and going to the WWF, although I don't think he leaves quite this early. Dr. Death and Steve Williams. Rob Rick Steiner, of course, becomes one half of the Steiner brothers with his brother Scott in the weeks and months to come. Obviously, oh, the Hacksaws. There we go. Now I understand. And I actually wrote this in my notes. Gee, how dumb am I? But the Hacksaws are Butch Reed and Hacksaw Duggan. So Reed and Duggan teaming up. Reed coming back off the injuries at the hands of the hired henchman that Ric Flair has brought about. So that was not a fun thing for him. He is, however, still legally the North American champion with that supposed 27-pound belt. Reed wrestling with a neck brace, which I've never quite understood the concept of. If you're in that much damage or that much pain, why would you put yourself out there in that way? Anyway, Rob Rick Steiner looks to be in tremendous shape for the time. He hooks on a couple of headlocks, gets things going to his liking or the way that he would like, I would suppose, and ultimately does does what he wants there. Reed takes him over with a hip toss. He backs off quite a bit. Relies more on the, at this point, veteran Steve Williams. Irish whip by Butch Reed. Hard shots by Duggan. Duggan manages to get some shots right into the midsection, right into the breadbasket. Doesn't get everything he wants on that, but manages to get some of what he does. And Duggan there tags off to hard shots by Jim Duggan. Goes right at it with Steve Williams. Williams manages to do everything he possibly can. Tag off, and Duggan, manages to do what he can. Ducks the clothesline, and again, hard shots from behind by Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner manages to get an advantage. Tag off, or almost tag off, but Duggan brings Rick Steiner in the hard way. Duggan cleans house, and then both baby faces in the ring. Butch Reed manages to hop up and just about knock his opponent down. Double football tackle by the baby faces. 1, 2, 3 is their victory. And then we go to Joe Malcolm and Ricky Gibson. Ricky Gibson, of course, the brother of Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Gibson, this is my first time actually seeing him. Man, I wish there was so much more stuff of 81 and before. I'd love to see wrestling from the 70s and 60s, but obviously not as much television footage available there. Anyway, Joe Malcolm, relatively new enhancement talent. Ricky Gibson, of course, the lesser known brother of Robert Gibson. He gets some good mat wrestling time with his opponent here. Known mainly for the Pensacola and Florida territories is Ricky Gibson. Does do some work in Memphis, although not as much. Manages a spinning toe hold, gets as much as he wants to out of that. Doesn't get nearly enough in his own mind, but gets enough to keep an advantage here. He's less charismatic, if one can imagine that, than Robert Gibson. Robert Gibson, obviously good in the ring, but not a promo guy, and it doesn't seem that his brother was either. Works over the leg for quite a few minutes before kind of going back towards kind of trying to get spinning toe holds and or figure fours. Doesn't really matter to him. All that really matters from his perspective is hooking things up in a meaningful way, and Malcolm trying to kick off, trying to get as much as he can kicked from the back. I wish more guys and ladies these days did that. When you're in a hold, actually work to get out of it rather than just lay there like a lump. So many people don't work holds, and I think working holds now is more important than it was even during the pre-MMA days, because people know that holds can actually be dangerous. There are ways to reestablish holds in wrestling and make that work. Irish whip, and Gibson comes back off, hits a knee lift, doesn't get all he wants, but gets enough for a minute anyway. Again with the Irish whip and big back body drop. Sends the man up into the lights, and a drop kick under the chin for him, and ultimately a big body slam there. Steps over, inverted I guess, Gibson lock maneuver that most notably now the Gibson lock pinning combination is something Darby Allin uses, so it's actually cool to see where that originally came from. Larry Clark and Paul Brown versus the Bruise Brothers. Major, uh, not a major match there, and they've got about 6 minutes or so. Actually, less because there's a promo segment where Bill Watts calls out Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert called out for being a bit of a fraud when it comes to the picture contest, but the Bruise Brothers are in a really basic match here. Punch, punch, kick, kick. Really basic thing, nothing worth going out of your way to watch. And then we see the larger of the Bruise Brothers hit a splash and get a victory. And then, as mentioned, Bill Watts basically calls Eddie Gilbert a bit of a coward, and that is that. We'll be back with more right after this.